welcome to A Cup of Coffee with me, Sandy. Today my guest is a wonderful lady called Marie Andree Gleeson. We have seen her before, but in a different capacity. This time we're seeing her and meeting her and finding out all about Age Concern, because she is the newly appointed president of Age Concern, MANILVA and Estepona. That's all along the coast, and the amazing work that she and the organization has done and is doing for the Costa del Sol. Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Good.
Good. As long as I can hear you and all is fine. Recently, you became the appointed president of Age Concern for MANILVA and Estepona. And you have helped so many people, you and the organization, for so many years. But before I even carry on, I just want to say that you've actually helped me tremendously over the years. I had spine surgery and nothing was too much for you and your organization and your helpers fetching and taking me to the hospital and doing as much as you could. And this is my time officially to say, thank you, Marie. Thank you, Age Concern, for everything that you have done for me.
You're welcome.
We will continue and find out what you're going to be doing for the rest of the community.
Oof.
Right.
Well,
Age Concern started in the UK originally, correct?
yeah, in 1940.
In 1914. And yeah. It is carried on and originally was started here. I believe, was it started in Mallorca? Not?
No, not at all. No.
Oh, okay. Then
it started,
my information was incorrect, but here it was started in 2003.
Well, Age Concern was started in Estepona in 2003.
Right.
But Age Concern in UK, it used to be called Help the Aged. And that was started during the Second World War, actually, to help with widows of people who have gone away to war and they've not come back, and the elderly population who didn't have the younger generation there to support them anymore because the war casualties are horrendous. And that's how Help the Aged actually started. And then after a while, it then evolved into Age Concern. I think in 1952, they changed their name to Age Concern. And then they went forward. And then about 4 years ago, they changed their name to Age UK. Yes. And there's another off branch of Age Spain, which is based in Mallorca, but we opted to keep the name Age Concern going within the federation. So that's why we're still Age Concern.
Okay, and that's how you're going to stay forever and a day, because we all know you as Age Concern.
Exactly.
And it says so much because you are concerned with age, with the older generation who really have got no help or very little help. And there you are, morning, noon and night. And you do so much. And I know that during the lockdown time, you and your helpers, your angels, were cooking, feeding, driving, going everywhere, shopping, doing everything for people like me and many others who were locked down for many months. And without you, I don't know what we would have done.
With 3 months, we were doing about 300 meals a week for 3 months. And that was cooked food and also cakes, and all being cooked by volunteers. So it was quite a big operation for 12 weeks,
You have got an amazing group of volunteers and nothing is too much. But you know what? That all stems from the top. And I know you from many years, and you have always been, whatever you say you're going to do, you do. And your volunteers are just the same. What else do you do besides with the volunteers as far as helping people on the coast. You do casework. What does that entail?
Casework is when somebody, for example, they've, as people get older, as with a car, with anything, things break. Things aren't working as they should be anymore. And, there's a lot of people there that don't have this, especially here in Spain, they don't have the support structure of a government that might necessarily understand because of the language problem. And also they might not be aware that because they're in Spain, they can also claim benefits from the UK that will help
Really?
them. Yes, because care allowance is payable in Spain, attendance allowance is payable in Spain, and there's also a lot of different allowances that people can get who are in really, really sticky situations, like they can't walk anymore, they can't, and they need the money to pay for a carer to come in to help them out of bed in the morning, or get them dressed, or get them washed, or I mean, really, the list is endless, to be honest with you. There's so much. I mean, I just had 2 new clients yesterday, you know, and at the rate we are going with Brexit also coming up, there's a lot of speculation, and a lot of it is incorrect. So I'm working with Arantxa, who is a lawyer. She's come down from the Madrid consulate to help us also process the Brexit prerequisites. Like, people need to have residencia and they need to have TIE, but they don't need both, which is something that is driving us both insane. If you have a residencia, you've got nothing to worry about. It's as simple as that.
Right.
If you don't, then you really, I think the cutoff date now really was the 31st of December. So we help with all different aspects: legal, driving license, disabled badges, social services, attendance allowance, care allowance, personal care allowance, which is for people who are under, because really we help people that are over 55. So a lot of these benefits are only applicable to people of pensionable age. But we also help, I've got 2 or 3 clients that are only 56, 57, and they have, bad health, and they still need to be helped. So it's not just about the elderly. And also I help all nationalities: Norwegians, Swedish, Finnish, I've got on my books, Chinese, Spanish. I don't just do
Chinese
it.
as well?
Yes, yes.
And all these people of different nationalities can come to you and get the help that you can organize for them
Yes,
in
because for example,
collaboration with the various different areas of.
organisations, I mean, the Canadian embassy is extremely helpful, very, very helpful. I had a gentleman the other day who was homeless, who was living in a garage, and the police here thought he was British, and so they automatically call me. And I'm like, well, look, guys, the police were there with him with the camera. So I was like, take a picture of his passport. He was Canadian. So, of course, you contact the Canadian embassy. So it doesn't really matter to me at all what nationality people are.
Or where
If
they've
we can
come
help,
from.
it doesn't matter.
No,
If I
doesn't
can help
matter.
them, I will. Simple
And
as
you
that.
speak several languages anyway, so language isn't a problem. And your
Um,
volunteers also have got languages.
Not
Like
all of them.
Arancha is Spanish, obviously.
She is Spanish, and yeah, and I help her translate into English,
Aha.
because sometimes if I have, for example, like I did the other day, a Scottish client from Glasgow. Now, Arantxa will have a problem understanding the Glasgow accent.
Sure.
So that's where I come in and help her to translate and understand what they're asking for. So yeah, I mean, it's quite a strong accent, Glasgow.
So your job is really 24/7 because you don't know when you're going to get a phone call with help, please help
Every day.
every day.
Every day. Some of it's solvable over the phone,
Right.
and some of it is not. And of course, you've got the fraud aspect as well, because with the increasing amount of fraud cases that I'm doing, because sorry to say, with the present economic climate, with Brexit and everything and the close down of businesses, people just don't have the money that they had before. So elderly people very often get targeted by carers. you know, who are coming in with no, there's no system here to regulate, you know, the type of person that goes into someone's home. So I recommend that people contact me first, and then I will assess whether or not this person is trustworthy enough or has the right stuff to live in someone's home or care for somebody's full time. And I'm very stringent on that,
Yeah.
because I've had a lot of fraud cases this year.
This is just so sad to hear that in
in
these days of so much trauma worldwide, and for people to go into other people's homes and steal and cheat. Why?
Yeah, I mean, I've had, because it's the way of the world. Everything seems to be based on money these days. And I mean, I'd love to say, I mean, I had a case 2 years ago, which is quite frankly probably the worst case I've ever had. And I am still, to this day, think that one of the people was unlawfully killed. And the carer, who was male and Spanish, who the police are still looking for, actually took over their bank accounts and actually lived and stole their car and ransacked their home.
Oh no, this is just so sad. Now,
Yeah, but it happens, so you have to be tough.
When people go in, do males go into males and females go into females, or it's mixed if volunteers or carers are needed?
Well, it's a personal thing. It's totally up to the client. You know, I'm not there to take away the client's privacy or to tell them what they have to have. You have to sit down and you have to sit down and say, you know, what do you want? What are you comfortable with?
Yes.
Because sometimes you might have somebody, and I've had this many times in the past, with qualifications, and they are absolutely awful at their job. They just don't have what it takes. It takes a certain something. You have to be able to empathize. Some people just aren't, you know. It's and some people go into that type of profession with not the best intentions. But I'm very happy to say that that's a rare occasion, and 99.9% of the carers that I've met have had the best intentions. But it's just that 1% that I definitely keep an eye on. Yeah, very much so.
Well, it just shows that you have got something in you that separates the men from the boys. You can tell who is going to be okay and who is a little bit iffy. So
it's experience. I think it's just experience. I think you just know, even by questioning people and throwing in questions and their response to the questions. I think you know, fairly enough, I think straight away whether you think that person is suitable. And also we advise on care homes as well, and also equity loans. I work with the Manchester Building Society a lot, so you might have a lady or a couple or a male, doesn't matter, and they're sitting in a property but they don't have any money. So Manchester Building Society, I've been working with them for 8 years. We'll go in and assess them correctly. They're a very, very good company, and they have helped me enormously and my clients. They will assess and they will give them an equity loan against their property, which allows them to go and stay somewhere like CK La Quinta and be looked after 24 hours a day without a care in the world. And then that house is still theirs till the day they die. So they're taken care of for the rest of their lives without stress.
I didn't know anything like this existed here. So this is a revelation for me completely. And so if their home is still theirs and they're in the care home, who do they rent out their home, and then the money that comes in from that also helps for their keep?
I have got one client like that, actually. Strictly speaking, it is against the rules. They're not supposed to rent the properties out if they have an equity loan against the property. But this particular case, I'm being honest, she is Swedish. This lady would have been on the street. So I asked them, and she's 78 now, and I asked them very kindly, I said, look, she needs that money because she took the equity loan out many, many years ago, and her and her husband, this is 15, 20 years ago, they spent it, you know. Whereas the more recent ones, I can make sure that that money goes to where it's supposed to go.
Sure.
not for a holiday, because that
Not on the
help.
good, not on the good life, on
Yeah,
everyday
yeah,
living.
yeah, on taking care of your future in a, you know, a decent way. And this particular lady, they said, yeah, okay, she can rent the property out, which I found a rental for her, and they're good people. And now her property is rented out, and that rent from there goes to pay her rent, what she is.
Okay, so all the work that you are doing, how do you get the money to, where do the resources come from?
What, to support what we do?
Yes,
The shop.
the shop,
Ta-da.
the shop is a
That,
new shop. It's very
well,
close to where you
we
work.
had the shop for 18 years, and then we recently moved premises to literally the street opposite, because I wanted the premises to be bigger and brighter and more cheerful. The shop that we had for 18 years was very, it was too small. And with the new social distancing that we have to apply, you know, that we have to do,
Sure.
there wasn't room for people to socially distance. But I've had a move since in my mind, since I became vice president, 7 years ago. I've always wanted to move, and I've always wanted the local that we're now in.
Now, where exactly are you in Estepona?
Calle Valencia, number 9. A lot of people that live here will know the San Jose Church,
Yes.
because it's quite a big church and they do a lot in the community. We're not affiliated with any religion, but we do help them on occasion with their Spanish clients and food, etc., because they have a food bank, as do we. And so we're basically opposite the church. So Calle Valencia, number 9. That's it.
And parking is easy there because right very close to you. Well, you've got the underground car park as well, which does help if you come early in the morning. And it's not exorbitant amount of money that you have to pay.
€1 a day. Yeah.
That's exactly.
So we have a loading bay in front of our shop as well, which is quite useful.
So people who are disabled can stop outside the shop, go in. How many people are you allowed in the space of the shop that you've got now?
5 people, excluding the volunteers. Yeah.
Okay.
So we've got a Christmas fair coming up on the 5th of December, which is a Saturday.
Yeah.
And also there's a clinic called Surimed, which is down in Marbella.
Right.
And they've been donating food and goods to us. It's a plastic surgery clinic, but one of my volunteers works there, and they've been donating food. So on that day, Saturday the 5th of December, I'll be there. We'll have a perfume bag sale, jewelry sale, that sort of thing. But again, it all depends on the meeting the government are going to have on Sunday to see how the restrictions, are they going to carry on, or are there going to be more restrictions?
Yes.
I won't know till tomorrow. Yeah.
So when you say it's the fair on the 5th of December, is it an outside fair or inside?
Well, what I've done is we used to do the Christmas fairs every year.
Yes.
Yeah, not this year we can't. So what I've done is the tables, that this shop has 2 doors, which the other one didn't, just had a front door. So we've actually got the back doors, which are double wide open, and that's classed as a community space, not public space. So what I'm going to do is open the front door and the back door for selling, with tables, you know, put mulled wine, mince pies, and traditional Spanish as well. So people can come around the side of the shop in the alleyway at the side, which we will make nice. Right. And so we'll have two parts open. Yeah.
So people who've got jewelry that they're not using, handbags that they're not using, goodies that they're not using, you'll accept them?
Absolutely. I mean, and clothes as well. I mean, absolutely. We'll accept anything, even electrical goods, because I do all the electrical goods as well. But obviously I check them first before we sell them. Yeah. Okay. They have to be working perfectly. And if it's got an English plug on it, I will get that done by an electrician and have a Spanish plug put on it free of charge. That's not a problem. And yeah, we check anything at all, anything.
There seems to be, it's endless, all the things that you can do and do that we don't know about. I found out recently that you also have disabled, I call them goodies, little things that help people, which you
Yeah.
loan out or you can buy. I bought a little holder for my stick,
Yeah.
which has proved to be absolutely wonderful because now the stick doesn't fall.
Right. Yeah, we do all that. We've always done that. We do wheelchairs, toilet aids, rollover toilet seats. What I'm trying to do is get the funding together to get some smaller wheelchairs, because the ones that fold up into a square, they're about €220 each, and they're so much easier for our clients to pick up and take away. Even the handlebars fold down, whereas some of the newer disability equipment that we received in January, it's quite cumbersome and it's quite heavy. And of course, you need things that people can get into a car boot.
Sure.
You know,
And also the width of doors, if they're
yeah,
in older premises,
beautiful. Yeah,
that is a problem as well.
yeah. So
The
first thing
other
I ask
thing
people. Yeah,
that I recently found out that you've got paperwork which enables you to keep it in a safe place where you fill out all your details in case of an emergency, who to phone, what to do, where things are kept. And this is something that I didn't know about before. I've got it in case of emergency file.
that's what I do for. That's what all my clients should have. They should have everything. They should have a copy of their passport, a copy of the residencia. Everything should be, in one place.
All together.
Yeah, because
and mark it in case of emergency. Everything is there, and keep it somewhere that is visible, not locked away, that if something happens to you and you are taken off to hospital and these things are needed, at least somebody can see if sadly you're unable to discuss or say, oh, the paperwork is there.
Yeah, I mean, I recommend people in wheelchairs in particular, they must always have those documents on them in
Right.
the compartment in the wheelchair, or doesn't really matter, because obviously I don't recommend people's wheelchairs taking handbags out with them, because again, that's the first thing that a thief would go for.
Sure.
So somewhere on their person or somewhere within the wheelchair or in their home, somewhere it's easily accessible. Yeah.
Is anybody on the coast making bracelets for people to wear who have got allergies or any sort of information? The only reason I'm asking you that is that I know of a family in South Africa who are actually now making these silver bracelets on something like this. I don't know if you can see. Call it string.
Yeah, I know.
And then it gives your name on the front, and underneath it, it's got what you're allergic to, an emergency telephone number.
Yeah, no, there's nothing like that on the coast, to my
Because
knowledge.
if somebody starts making that, I would be the first person to be buying it, because I think that is something that we haven't got here, and
No.
you can wear it all the time, and at least it gives underneath the bracelet, it gives all the emergency details.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great idea, because, I had a client who passed away quite young, 58, very young.
Very young.
For me, yeah. And because the paramedics didn't realise he was diabetic, and that was the only reason.
That is just so sad. So if anybody is watching, listening, or hearing, or anybody who is now, because they're at home more and artistic, if you want to start making these things, they will be maybe in your shop to be purchased.
Yeah.
And really, it's an opening that I see that can be exposed, used, and be of benefit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, also, it's what's helpful. I don't know if there'd be metal or whatever. I have a jeweler who's just around the corner from the shop, so they could be engraved free of charge, for example.
Ah, okay. So maybe
something
we
like
should
that.
talk to the jeweler and see
Oh, I
whether
talked to him.
there is time for them to make it and for
They
you.
help us a lot
Yeah.
already, actually. They're very
Um,
nice people.
and I'm sure that there are a lot of people along the coast, business people, who have been helping Age Concern during these terrible times. And I'm sure that you would like to say thank you to all the businesses that are donating food and
Well, being entirely honest with you, the companies that have helped us most has been Iceland in Guadiaro. They supplied us with a huge amount last Christmas. Whether they're going to do the same this Christmas, I don't know, because they tend to do a different charity every year. And I fully understand that.
sure,
Not a problem.
sure.
And then the Ciramed Clinic in Marbella, what I've done is I've split the food with the St. George's charity, because I think everybody should get some. Rather than one charity get everything, I think charities should help each other.
Absolutely.
And Judith at St. George's, they have a food bank. And at the moment, they're feeding 60 Spanish families. So, and that is every 2 weeks. So that's 30 families a week, plus the 600 Christmas presents that they give out on Christmas Eve, which are brand new. You can't give children second-hand presents here.
No, no.
It's actually against the law. Yeah.
It's against the
So
law.
when we get, yeah, we can't do it. Nope.
How did you find out about all the legal things that you need to know? Is it from research? Is it from absorbing? Is it from how have you found out who to go to, where to go in the
Oh,
years
it's
that you've been working?
And don't forget, because it was operating, so I've been with Age Concern for 11 years, and obviously it was operating before I came along.
Sure.
And so a lot of that knowledge has been passed on. And any kind of updates, or because we're very, very strict at Age Concern about liability insurance, stuff like that, we're absolutely on top of that. All our volunteers are insured while they're on the premises, whereas the care workers are insured while they're in a person's home. It's very expensive, but I feel we have to do that. But a lot of the knowledge has been passed on, and a lot of the knowledge has just been accrued. Because I'm the sort of person who likes to know exactly to the lesser how things should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do my research as well. Yeah.
I know that as well. As it's nearly Christmas time, and Christmas is probably going to be very different, instead of giving Christmas presents, maybe people can make donations which will help you with food and all the extras that suddenly you need to provide to people who don't have.
Yeah.
How do they do that? How can they make a donation to Age Concern MANILVA Estepona?
Well, what they'd first do is contact me on Age Concern Estepona, at gmail.com.
Right.
I would then refer you to our treasurer, who would then send individuals the IBAN number. We don't like posting the IBAN number on the internet for obvious reasons.
Sure.
Yeah. And I prefer if everything that we get goes through our treasurer, Mr. Andy Sprake, who is a retired paramedic of 30 years service, and possibly one of my right-hand person.
He's an amazing man.
Yeah.
An amazing man. He seems to be doing, whenever I've gone into the shop, whether it be the old shop and then moved over to the new shop, Andy is always busy, but never too busy to help. And
oh no, Andy is
then
busy
you
from the
told me
minute he
he
wakes
was
up.
a paramedic before. I mean, this is just amazing.
Yeah, 30 years he was a paramedic. And he said himself he should have retired probably after 15 years because it's a very stressful job, but he didn't. He carried on for the whole 30 years. And also he actually started volunteering when he was 6 years old.
Wow.
That's Andrew.
From youth.
Yeah.
All his life.
Yeah. Very amazing man. He's only 61 now, but that's his whole life has been helping other people.
And he was born in the UK and came over here?
Yeah. He retired here 10 years ago. He was working for another charity that was involved in animals,
Right.
and he came to me a couple of years ago, and he just felt that Age Concern was a better fit for him, and he's been with us ever since. And I made him treasurer, and I'm very happy I did, because our accounts have never been so absolutely pristine. That guy could find 0.0 of a cent, and he'd still know where it was, which is good, because I'm too busy doing other things. So I need somebody like that who's very precise and, you know, brilliant.
And that you can trust and know that if something
Oh.
needs to be done, it's done. You don't have to ask twice.
I trust Andrew with my life. Never mind, mate. It's true.
Is there anything else before we end a cup of coffee that you would like the coast to know about Age Concern that we haven't covered?
Well, I'd like people to also know that we've got an Age Concern in San Pedro and Marbella, under the same umbrella. It's Age Concern. They've got a different management team in there.
Right.
And also there is Age Concern that covers Fuengirola and Mijas. And, you know, eventually I'd like us to move in the opposite direction and have, you know, so that Soto Grande, La Linea, that area down there was covered as well. You know, that would be great.
So at the moment, from Manilva all the way up east, we are covered with Age Concern, and you all work together, really.
Yeah, well, we have our own areas.
You've got your own areas, but if one area needs help, you've always got somebody else in the other area that can help.
Yes, and Marbella helped me a lot because they don't have a shop. So if they have any excess of things, then we'll go and pick them up from Marbella. Like clothes or good quality stuff. Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful. Well, I thanked you before, and I want to thank you again, because Age Concern has done so much for me, and I am so appreciative for everything that you and your team of volunteers, and I just pray that 2021 is a much easier year for all of us, whether we be 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, no matter what the age is, but that the situations change and life becomes easier and a lot less stress for you.
It would be nice if things got back to normal, wouldn't it? But
well, it'll be a new normal, it'll be a bit different, but we are so lucky to have somebody like you, Marie Andree Gleeson, to head Age Concern Manilva Estepona and say thank you on everybody's behalf. I am saying to you. And it's a very early time to say Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad. It's a bit too early.
It's a bit too early, but
Christmas trees are already up. So.
I see people are putting up Christmas trees just to bring a little bit of lightness into our lives in these dark times.
And sparkly lights every night cheers you up, doesn't it?
Absolutely. That and a glass of wine, and how can you not smile, no matter what kind of day you've had? Take care, God bless, and to all my viewers, please, if you can help Age Concern Estepona Manilva, you know how to contact Marie. Age Concern is in Estepona, and she's always available. She answers emails, she takes messages, the shop is there, and I just say thank you for being with us. See you again. And Marie, if there's anything that we can ever help you with to give you some sort of support, you know where to find to have a cup of coffee with me.
Okay.
Are you drinking anything with me today?
Sorry?
Are you drinking anything with me today, like a cup of coffee?
No, I'm sorry, I haven't got
anything. Okay. In the meantime, take care, have a lovely day, and many thanks. And to everybody else, take care.
Thank you.